to the first episode of Season 2 of Pop News. I'm your host, Stephanie Lindo, and let's see what's popping this week. Now let's get started with story number 5. Apple sold over 4 million phones on the release day of iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Now that's a lot of phones. Despite the scrutiny of the new iPhones, Apple still had a successful release day. Apple sold out within hours. Some pre-orders may not get their iPhones for another month, while the lucky ones will receive their new phone by Friday. I guess the early birds do indeed catch the worm. For story number 4, the beloved Hunger Games star speaks out on her leaked nudes and why she won't apologize for them. Jennifer Lawrence will grace the cover of Vanity Fair. Inside the magazine is an interview where she says this statement: "Just because I'm a public figure, just because I'm an actress, does that mean that I asked for this?" She told Vanity Fair, "It does not mean that it comes with the territory. It's my body and it should be my choice. And the fact that it is not my choice is absolutely disgusting. I can't believe that we live in this kind of world," she goes on to say. "It is not a scandal, it is a sex crime. It is a sexual violation. It's disgusting. The law needs to change, and we need to change. That's why these websites are responsible. Just the fact that someone can be sexually exploited and violated, and the first thought that crosses somebody's mind is to make a profit from it, it's so beyond me. I just can't imagine being that detached from humanity. I can't imagine being that thoughtless and careless and so empty inside." It's been 7 months since Flight 370 went missing. For story number 3, how do you lose a commercial aircraft? We have all been taught about the mysteries of the deep blue sea. Well, those stories seem to ring true. They have narrowed down the area that the flight may have landed into about 23,000 miles. In that area, the Australian Safety Bureau has reported extinct volcanoes and cavernous trenches. It seems like it may be a while before we ever find this plane, if we ever do. Story number 2 is one thing that's taking the world by storm: ISIS. 19-year-old Chicago resident was arrested in an attempt to leave the country on a flight headed to the Middle East, where he planned to join ISIS. The FBI has reported over 100 Americans heading or attempting to go to Syria in the midst of ISIS beheadings. Do you think that America should crack down on flights to the Middle East? Comment below. Last but not least is story number 1. This hot topic is something Americans just can't seem to stop talking about: Ebola. We have all seen memes and different articles on Ebola in America. There are so many stories ranging from an Ebola patient's dog being euthanized as a precaution, the infected Texas patient receiving experimental treatments to help combat Ebola. There is also a U.S. journalist with Ebola that is flying into Nebraska to be treated for Ebola, and a Spanish nurse who has contracted Ebola while taking care of a patient who later died from the virus. Well, that's all for this week's episode of Pop News. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check the description box below for more information on any of today's top 5 stories. I'm your host, Stephanie Lindo, and thank you for popping in. And story number 3. It's been 7. How do you lose a commercial air flight? In different articles